Live from New York, it's Ask These Engineers.
Hey everybody, welcome to a jam-packed, extra special guest edition of Ask Engineer. Not only is there one engineer, me, Lady Ada, but there's also Mitch, another engineer. Look at this, you get two engineers for the price of one. What a bargain. And we also have, of course, Mr. Lady Ada, who...
I just press the buttons.
He doesn't know anything about engineering.
Yeah.
We laugh at him and point and make impedance jokes.
Yeah.
We got an exciting show tonight, of course. Special guest, Mitch Altman. So we'll be chatting about hackerspaces, turning off TVs, and other such mischief.
Hey.
Take it away, Mr. Lady Ada.
Okay, on tonight's show, the code is going to be Altman in honor of Mitch. We're going to be talking about show and tell. We had an amazing group of people showing really cool stuff. Mitch is here, talk about open source hardware, some of the things he's up to, and more. This is one of my favorite photos of Mitch. Pack at the mailbag's going to stop by and read some letters that we got to Adafruit. Adafruit Jobs Board, the free place where maker posts their skills and companies look for makers. Adafruit Learning System, we've got a lot of tutorials. How many, Lady Ada? It's 685.
It's a lot. Okay.
Glad I asked. The Adafruit comic book reading list. We'll talk about the comic book we highlighted this week. Time travel. We'll look back in time at the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers. Wearable electronics. 3D printing. Pi stuff. New products. We'll answer your question. We'll have a trivia question. All that and more on Ask an Engineer. That's right. Okay. So, first up, pay some bills. Altman, it's go 10% off all the way up till midnight tonight. Discount on everything except for gift certificates and EagleCAD. The Taz is now back in the list. So if you want the best open source 3D printer, we got them. Since you were here, by the way, we did it. We did it. We have the TazBot, we have the TazBot Mini, we have the PrinterBot,
cool.
We have the Orion, and we have all open 3D printers. We made a deal with everyone out there, and we said, okay, we'll stock all these, but you have to buy them, because that's the problem, supply and demand. If we had these and no one bought them, then we'd have to find alternatives. Nope, people really like them. So we're really happy about that. So
Taz is a great printer, too.
Yeah, that's how we printed that big helmet over there. That was on the printer. That's Noah and Pedro. Yeah, and you can actually wear it, and there's NeoPixels inside of it. It's crazy. I'll show it to you afterwards.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right, so that's the first thing. Next up, Bitcoin. We still take Bitcoin. So if you want to use Bitcoin, use them while you got them. The free deals are still on. 200 or more, free UPS ground. 100 or more, free Adafruit Perma-Proto. And with that, Lady Ada, let's talk about the show and tell. Every single week, show and tell, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. People around the world show their projects. We also have some cool people from Adafruit. That's how we do our staff meeting. We get a chance to
I'm
check
what
in.
the hell are these people been doing? What are you doing? Turns out they're doing really cool stuff.
Yeah, so Tony, you're going to talk about what he showed, and Noah and Pedro, and then we had a bunch of people who showed some amazing things.
Don't work for Adafruit yet.
Yeah.
show and tell's full of people who work for Adafruit, and then people who may at some future point. So it's kind of like an interview process as well, or something, or review.
Yeah.
Let's start off with Tony Nicola, who we met on the show and tell. And he showed off a Adafruit.io demo with a light sensor and a lamp connected to relay. And Adafruit.io is our Internet of Things backend that respects your freedom and is going to obey the Internet Bill of Rights that we wrote up.
Yeah.
Because that would be really awful if I wrote a Bill of Rights for Internet of Things services and I didn't follow it. So I have to follow it.
Yeah, basically, I mean, we'll talk about I/O in the future, but basically,
the
thing is, like, if you're using a data service in an Internet of Things device, you should be able to get that data out at any time. You should be able to put it under a license that you want. And we think if it's a sensor that's in public, that other people should be able to have that data too.
Yeah.
So that's the big idea. So we'll see how it goes. And also, we wanted to have a place where makers knew that the hardware that they bought from Adafruit could work with one of these Internet of Things services. One of the things that's unfortunately happened is there's been like 5 like data logging sites or whatever, and you use it for free, and then later they're like, hey, our business model sucked. Now it's expensive. And this happens over and over and over again. So no one has really been able to build something.
Or they sell it off, think it's closed,
Yeah.
or it's just, or something changes.
Yeah, so we're going to build it the right way where as long as Adafruit's around, or maybe even not, you'll be able to do stuff with data.
Great.
Anyways, that's
Anyways,
Adafruit.io.
So
Coming
demo,
soon.
please watch it. One of the things that I really like about I/O, which I think is better than just a generic data logging service, which there's a lot of really good ones out there. What I like about this is bi-directional, so you can send data to the service, and you can also, you have a control board, and you can send messages to your device, which is a problem when people are behind firewalls. They just want to, they should be behind a firewall, but you want to be able to like go to a place and query a message, so you can like have switches and knobs and like digital potentiometers, and you can basically interact as if you're right there with your project. So check out Tony's demo; it's a really good demo. And then we had Noah and Pedro, who are from Adafruit Southeast, who we also met on the show and tell. So we're keeping it real, and they showed off some of the stuff that they will be demoing tomorrow on the 3D Hangouts. So don't forget to watch them tomorrow.
They also,
more details.
Yeah, they're playing around with some really new material. So everyone asks, like, oh, what?
Color fab.
Yeah, this glow-in-the-dark material, copper-based, bronze. Yeah, it's really neat. So if you want to see what's kind of new in 3D printing, we have our 3D printing.
And they also demoed the GamePi Advance, which they will be releasing the tutorial and video for tomorrow. An epic project, really starting off 2015, right? And then we move on to people who don't work for Adafruit yet. Arcturus, who's shown up with a lot of like really awesome costume and wearable projects, made a rubber shirt with laser cut holes in it, and then he had some molded neopixels and a translucent piece that goes behind it. And then when he moves, it like lights up and like changes color. Really cool material science that he's doing, like kind of like a little futuristic.
And
like,
beautiful.
Very beautiful. Yeah, I loved it. And there was like these cutouts, and they looked really cool. I wish I could get away with wearing that nowadays. Chris H. Came by and showed off an NRF 8001 Bluetooth Energy breakout that we have in the store, and he got it working with his Moto 360, which is the watch that uses Android Wear. It is a kind of new Android type operating system. I don't know that much whether it's a true operating system or I guess just a device driver thingy. And he actually can control NeoPixel using his watch, so the watch is a capacitive touch, and he can like touch stuff and like change this. So he got that working. So it's a really good demo. He also got it working with Android, plain Android, but he says the Moto 360 actually he thought was like a little more stable. And then Eric came by with like an amazing Learjet 45 cockpit. Like it was like a full cockpit, and he says it actually takes him 20 minutes to actually like
boot it up and do everything.
No, not just boot it up. The boot up takes a couple minutes, but because he's like truly following the Learjet, like the jet.
Yeah, it's a business
all the
jet.
protocols and everything.
Yeah.
So he has a check sheet where he has to like check, is the air pressure okay? Is the gas pressure okay? Check this temperature sensor. Check that there's like ice on the wing, and there's like an ice wing sensor that simulates if it's icy out. Like
You have to make sure there's those little peanuts that you eat.
You have to make sure there's pretzels and peanuts for everybody.
Yeah.
And you have to.
On a complete side note, how many miles do you have? You travel a lot.
Oh, you mean frequent flyer miles? This year I spent a lot of them with this guy who calls himself Vlad Fox, and he does all these tricks. So I got all my 2014 flights handled by him, and
Whoa.
I was able to fly here first class with only a few miles spent. And
Wow.
I think it's
flat
Fox.
bed.
Who's this Flat Fox guy?
Well,
I know
I'll
this guy.
pass along your info.
I don't
if
think
you're
he's
So
interested.
Flat,
cool.
but I just want to meet a guy named Flat Fox.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
He's like
a
the
really-
fixer.
He's
Yeah.
a totally cool
He
person.
comes in. Does he wear a cape?
No, I got
Should.
a friend of mine finally met him, and he sent me a picture, and he looks like a human.
Okay.
Oh, man.
a
I was
nice
hoping he was
human.
like half fox, half vampire or something. Okay.
Okay, next
That'd
up.
be cool. So anyways, you got this cockpit, and at the end, he probably says like bye-bye to everybody too. But he made this cockpit, he said he's been working on it for 6 years.
2007.
Yeah, almost 10 years of this cockpit build. And he says he used to work on getting his flight license, but now he just works on his cockpit. But it's like amazing. You got to see this video. It's like amazing. Apparently he has a YouTube series as well. More details. And then C. Scott came in with a control panel he built for an air dryer. Like 30 years ago, and then he also had a panel for his 1987 Yamaha DX7, which you have.
Indeed.
It's a synthesizer that apparently has 166 settings, and you can only use like a potentiometer and like a slide switch or something. To
And a
set-
yes/no button.
And a yes/no button.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
a
can
great
imagine
UI.
this is like a choose your own adventure of hell. You know, like yes, no, yes, no. For every, but it's a digital synthesizer, one of the first ones. But it's a pain in the ass to make. So he made a panel that allows you to actually use. It's funny because it replaced an analog synth, but then he made an analog front end for the digital synth, so you can like tweak all the knobs and like
the
have a
best of
digital
all
thing.
worlds.
Yeah, so you have the best of all worlds. Now you can just use your iPhone, and that was the show and tell.
Okay. All right. All participants on the show and tell get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. They just email support@adafruit.com and we send it out. Lady Ada, how did they get on the show and tell? Is what everyone's asking.
If you would like to join these extremely interesting and attractive people and join us in our weekly cocktail hour, half hour, called Show and Tell in the Adafruit Factory, you can go to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit and look for the thread where we say, comment here, so we can add you to the Show and Tell circle. Once you comment, we'll click on your funny avatar of a cat, and we'll add you to the circle, and then you'll get invited every single week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 New York time.
Yeah.
You'll be invited. And you can mute your mic, show your project, take 5 minutes, and come on as often as you like.
Yeah.
Show us all sorts of projects, including crafting, making, hacking, electronics, computery stuff, things that blink, things that sense, things that are interactive, retro, costumes.
We also do hackerspace tours now, so people walk around each other
Hackerspace
hackerspace.
tours.
Cool.
Yeah. All
It's
right.
pretty much anything,
We don't have
country and western.
we don't have the Raven Fox, so we don't travel as much.
Flat
So
Fox.
we stay here, and then we travel
Homebodies.
through the
Yeah, I
internet.
gotta
No,
get Flat
seriously.
Fox.
Yeah. So
I think
some
Flat Fox is he's like the bad guy in like some video game.
He's a good guy at flights.
He's
Yeah.
a good guy in my book.
yeah.
I just sound like Flat
Yeah, I
Fox.
got to sleep laying flat.
Wow, you got this like the sleep flat bed, and you're like,
Yeah.
and you have like the headphones to protect your ears and stuff.
They have headphones for you for free.
All right. Okay. I have to do a little programming note because we have a lot of new people that watch the show. So by the way, Ask an Engineer is every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and Show and Tell is every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. I have to do it because we have a lot of new people and they watch the recorded version. They don't know that they can watch it live and chat in the chat rooms if they want.
And ask questions live.
Yeah.
It's like an AMA, but without the Reddit.
Yeah. All right.
Kind of nice that way.
It's kind of nice way.
All right.
And it's a video.
So a little bit of open source hardware stuff. I want to. So I usually do this segment where I talk about something in the world of open source hardware. This week I'm just going to talk about you because you do open
You
source.
are the open source
Yeah.
hardware.
So
demo.
Mitch Altman is our guest on the show. Mitch, before you get going, I'm going to say what the internet says about you.
What?
So it
I'm
says
curious
Mitch.
about
Yeah, it says Mitch Altman's an inventor. He's a San Francisco-based hacker and inventor, best known for inventing TVGone. A featured speaker at hacker conferences, international expert on the hackerspace movement, and for teaching introductory electronic workshops.
That's a pretty good. That's actually
That's right.
Not so bad.
And your own quote is, "I love tricking people into exploring and doing what they love." CEO of Cornfield Electronics. Mitch Altman, welcome to the show.
Yay! Everybody.
All right. So, where were you just like 24 hours ago or so?
Berlin.
And what were you doing there?
Well, there's an annual huge hacker conference at the end of December put on by the Chaos Computer Club. And this year was their 31st Chaos Communications Congress.
Is the CCC the oldest currently existing hacker group? You think?
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
definitely.
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And they're
Yeah, and they're
cool.
amazing. And they really embrace the chaos and make really cool stuff happen.
What would you say the theme of the conference was I'm going to say this year, but it's the end of 2014, because the themes kind of change. Like when Lamar and I were there, I think hardware was just kind of getting interesting for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were really talking a lot about like this
offensive
maker
hardware.
movement and like people making hacker spaces because there wasn't as many.
There weren't. Yeah, this was sort of the beginning
Yeah.
of the real explosion.
And so now it's pretty mature. So what was the big topics this year?
Well, of course, privacy is a big issue. A year after the Snowden revelations, so people are still talking about that. The person I co-founded Noisebridge with, Jacob Applebaum, gave some talks along with Laura Poitras, who was the key journalist who got contact initially with Snowden.
Yeah, we watched Citizen Force playing here in New York. While you're in New York, you might want to go see it.
I've seen it in San Francisco. It's amazing. And
Okay.
they played it on Saturday night of the conference,
Okay,
too.
so you've seen it multiple times. All right.
Oh, yeah, it's an amazing film. Very
You're probably
emotionally
actually in it.
Powerful. I wasn't in it, but Jake is in it, and he's exiled in Berlin along with Laura Poitras and all these people that I've met and know. It's kind of emotionally powerful, even if you don't know the people involved.
Yeah.
It's just shot in a way that makes it personable.
I thought they did a good job with the computer parts and how the terminal was displayed, and it wasn't like flying through like fake servers, or they didn't make the computery part so like fake. It was actually like little bits of text that were subtle that kind of told the story.
Yeah, and it did a good job. It's very accessible. Anyways, that was a big topic, and the hardware hacking area is a room now with like 20,000 square feet.
And that's what you run, right?
I help organize that, and I had my own little corner with 56 soldering irons. I'm in US, and now I can say soldering.
Yeah,
Soldering. And
freedom loving soldering irons. Yeah.
and so we had lots of workshops. I taught I don't know how many hundreds of people to solder, and
that's your thing. I mean, that's one of the things that you're known for. You go, and it's almost like one of those telethon sessions. You're awake for like a few days just teaching people electronics.
Yeah, well, there's very little sleep at these things.
Yeah.
So, but I love doing that. That's why I do it, and people seem to appreciate it. So.
Is Club Mate consumption up or down? Have people moved on to something else, or are they still Club Mate?
There's not only Club Mate at Congress, there's Club Mate at every single convenience store and late night store all over Germany.
They totally are. It's heavy duty.
Take it over.
Okay.
It's totally heavy duty, but there's also all these copycats that people like to.
That's awesome. That's like it's like Dr. Pepper and then like Dr. Zeppa and then Dr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb.
And then Mr. Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the knockoff Club Mate.
So,
are any of them good, or is it
yeah,
Club
but
Mate?
there's well, people have their favorites, and there's also these hackerspaces have all made their own. We've made Noise Mate at Noisebridge,
okay.
Based on the open source version that was reverse engineered from a Dutch hackerspace.
Okay.
Of course.
So Club
And
Mate is the energy drink of choice in German hacker spaces and the hacker scene there. So if you don't know about it, it's got the most bizarre logo, and their tagline used to be "One gets used to it." So it's not exactly hard sell, but it sells anyways.
And 2600, who you and I are dear friends with, they sell it on their website if you really would like to get it.
Yeah, the importer for the U.S.
Yeah. So if folks want to check out a little bit more about CC3, you could just Google for Chaos Computer Club.
It's kind of the official beverage of like hackerspaces.
And I think this year they're.
After.
I'm trying to remember.
It's kind of disgusting, so I don't know why.
One gets used to it.
One gets used to
A New Dawn was the
Yeah, that was
theme.
the theme, which
Kind of
didn't
like Burning
have a
Man,
whole
where
lot
Burning
of...
Man is like this year. It's like new plateaus or
fishes.
something.
Yeah, but at CCC, the theme often has something to do with a lot of the things that are going on. A New Dawn, I don't know, people didn't really pick up on that too much this year.
Okay.
But in past years, the theme has been more maybe meaningful, like
Gotcha.
Nothing to Hide was one a few years
Oh,
ago,
okay.
and people
Yeah.
talked about that
Hope
a bunch. in
Hope
there.
does that too. They have kind of a very like almost jolting like theme where you really think about it, and like the iconography and the images that go along with it. Like, Hope is famous for kind of these 1984 style posters, and then like the NSA logo. They were really ahead of their time. Yeah.
Or the
you
EFF logo here.
Yeah, and so very interesting stuff. So that was Chaos, and you got back from that.
You're back now.
And I wanted to talk about hackerspaces.
Yeah.
So I think from the source, What's a hackerspace, Mitch?
A hackerspace. Not so easy to say in a soundbite, but basically there are places, physical places, with supportive community where people can explore and do what they love. And there are tools, there's people, there's classes, there's workshops. Each hackerspace around the world, and there's like 2,000 now, each one's unique, because the people who start them and keep them going are unique individuals. We're all unique individuals. And so some more focus on hardware, some more on software, some more on art. But there's some like NoiseBridge, which are really diverse and have all of this going on.
Okay, so speaking of, so you are co-founder of NoiseBridge.
NoiseBridge.
And how long has NoiseBridge been going on?
Since 2007.
2007, so almost
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
Coming on now.
And what are some of the things that you do at NoiseBridge?
Well, when I'm home, which is only a third of the year last year,
Wow.
when I'm home, I teach Circuit Hacking Monday every Monday. That's basically what I do when I'm on the road, too.
Okay.
Teaching people to solder, I'm in America, solder, and...
You're an international man of mystery.
an international man of mystery. And I teach people how to solder at Circuit Hacking Monday, and people of all skill levels come and help each other do their projects. So I also just hang out there because there's a lot of cool people there, and there are a lot of classes and workshops all day, all night, every night we're open, and everyone's welcome as long as you follow our one and only one rule, which is be excellent to each other.
Yeah, I totally stole that, and we use that in the entire Adafruit
Feel free,
organization.
it's all open source.
Yeah, we say this every week. We have a State of the Fruit meeting, and we say just be excellent to each other. And you know what? It solves most things, because you have a choice when something's happening. Are you being excellent or you're not? Are you being excellent to someone? Or you're not being excellent? Because it's pretty clear what's excellent and what's pretty clear what's not.
Yeah, and it is subjective. You know,
Yeah.
for some people there might be some discussion, but that's one of the things that keeps things lively and
Yeah.
keeps things from becoming dogmatic.
All right. Speaking of your world tour, you know, when I Google for you, I just find these weird posters. So this is China, and this is Mitch Altman, inventor of TV Gone, prevents hacking cool things with microcontrollers. And so this is a poster. I guess you were at a hackerspace, or you did some talk. Yeah.
In Shanghai, yeah.
And you go around the world doing this.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And if I know you can't say your favorite, but where's one of the more unique places that you really liked doing a hackerspace tour or a workshop?
I've never been to a hackerspace I don't like.
Yeah,
so,
no, that goes without saying.
Yeah, it's just totally cool when people come together to support each other and share what they really love doing. It's really high. It's wonderful. Xinjiang is the first hackerspace in China. Well, I guess Beijing Makerspace was also there near then too. But they started off in this old, historic, sort of Soviet-esque building, and they turned their space into a really cool, wonderful place where it's totally lively, as opposed to what used to go on there, which is who the hell knows. And
Fish paste.
Fish paste, or
always just fish paste.
or fish head soup in a
Fish head
can,
soup.
or who knows? It was probably some toxic capacitor corporation or
product.
But yeah, that's really cool. But one of the granddaddies of all hackerspaces is Seabase in Berlin.
Yeah.
And they have the weirdest, coolest stuff all over the place. They've been around since 2005.
Yeah, when we went, it was like a spaceship.
Yeah, well, it's a
thing.
crashed alien spaceship excavation, and all the cool technology we have today is because they excavated it from the aliens.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That would explain the documentation sometimes I have to read.
There you go.
And so the other thing that a lot of people know you from is the TV Be Gone, which is a fully assembled thing, but then there's a kit that Lady Ada and you worked on together.
Yeah.
And so that was...
It's like
Popular
an
kit.
extremely popular kit.
Yeah, we'll be coming up on... so Adafruit's 10 years old. I'll be talking about that soon.
amazing.
But I think...
TV Gone is almost 10 years old too.
Yeah, I introduced...
It is.
I introduced you to about 8 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
let's see, we
No,
met.
it's 9 years because I was at IBeam, so
Well,
9 years ago.
Yeah, we met because I emailed you when I found your thesis when you just graduated.
Yeah, that was more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you had the SEP glasses, somebody
Yeah.
else's problem, and I thought that was totally cool. And it turned black. Unlike, it doesn't look in the future like on Hitchhiker's Guide,
Yeah.
but it does turn black when a TV comes in your field of view, which I
Yeah.
thought was great.
Yeah.
But then because of that, we met at the first Maker Faire.
Yeah.
Which was
And we
so
went
much
out.
fun.
We went out to eat, and I had introduced the two of you, and I had said, you know, Mitch, you can make a kit version of the TV Be Gone, and that was really scary because that was like the only thing you were kind of working on. It was like this was your bread and butter. This is how you made a living, and
Still is.
And Lamar makes kits, and we said, well, let's make a kit version. And there's this thing called open source hardware that wasn't really like known yet, and what a huge risk you took. But look at the thing that it unlocked, because
It's
you,
perfect.
you get to go around and build the TV Be Gone, and the TV Be Gone sales. Did they ever get hurt because you made an open source kit?
No, quite the contrary.
Yeah, probably even more, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Open source is way where it's at for this. I would not have done nearly as well as I've done. I wouldn't still be making a living on this thing if it wasn't open source.
Yay!
That's cool.
Yeah.
So just for the folks out there who,
This
you
is
know,
so heartwarming.
well, if you ever
yeah,
wonder,
totally.
like, you know, how something can start. So Adafruit was, all of Adafruit was a bag hanging on Lamore's door.
Yeah, full of TV Gun kits.
So, you know, that was everything. And I
Many
would,
POVs.
yeah,
Yeah,
I would
many
help her
products
with
to
the
be gone.
kitting and the shipping. And, you know, now we're 85 people, and you're traveling around the world helping people. And, you know, we try to do this show because we don't travel. We know that you're out there, and you probably meet, what, like a few thousand people every
every
quarter.
year.
Yeah, like you're seeing a lot of people. So that type of impact is huge. So thank you for doing this. The other thing that you're kind of known for is some of these electronics, like there's brain machines and there's the sleeping stuff that does that. So
NeuroDreamer.
yeah, so that's interesting because we don't see a lot of people who are doing electronics that also do that. So what made you decide, in addition to TV Be Gone and all the stuff you're doing, why have those type of electronics as well?
I don't know. Where do ideas come from?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like something pops in your head and it's just like, I have to do it. And
Yeah.
so Brain Machine, that was a simplification of NeuroDreamer, which popped in my head while I was meditating one day. And and I just had to do it. And TV Be Gone popped in my head when I was yet again being annoyed by one of those TVs in public places.
There's no TVs here.
And
Safe place.
We're definitely safe.
Yeah.
And no cell phones. It's nice.
Yeah.
So
We make open source cell phones,
open
but
source
you
cell
can
phones.
turn them off.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, ideas come and go all the time for everybody. It's just what do you do with those ideas? So some of them are there and they're kind of like screaming to come out, and those
Yeah.
are the ones I work on.
I like how you kind of combine important causes and things along with your engineering ability. It's like a really nice match. So like, you know, you could go work on anything. You're an engineer. You can build anything, but you decided to make something that turns off TVs. It's more than just the electronics. Like when people have a TV Be Gone, they're on a mission. They're thinking about how they're in public spaces, and even the other things that you do, like the brain machine and all that. It's not anti-technology to help, you know, hack your
pro-human.
brain if you want.
Yeah.
It's cool. You're actually using all these things.
Neurohacking.
So I thought that was neat how you always seem to find a really neat cause, and it's also could be a very good business, and that doesn't mean you can't be open source. Like it's kind of neat how you've put all this stuff together.
It's important to be open source because
Yeah.
I'm only one person, and you know, I'm pretty good at engineering. But when it's open source, other people who are intrigued with the project help, and for free. It's kind of amazing. You know, do that with a patent. So and then the PR that comes from people building your project and talking about it.
Yeah.
You can't pay for that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Mitch. We're gonna do some more of Ask an Engineer, so stick
Yeah.
around.
So stay here. Don't-
Yeah, we
don't
have a
leave.
bunch of stuff.
I'm not going anywhere.
But that's
Sounds
that's
great.
that's Mitch, everyone. And if they're interested in following you, you're on Twitter. You're, I think, Maltman
23.
23,
I like
and
23s.
and then also,
It's a good number.
Yeah.
where can they find out about you online? What you're up to?
So I don't really blog because I don't have enough time.
Yeah,
for
you
that.
tweet and you post your photos on
so,
Flickr.
Yeah, I have all my photos on Flickr. That's also Maltman23.
Yeah.
I use Facebook, sorry, and Google Plus and Diaspora and Elo and Multman23 everywhere. So.
All right, great.
So please, if you want to learn how to solder, this man will teach you.
Yeah, I love
somewhere in the
teaching
world.
soldering. So if you ever want to contact me anytime, just feel free, Mitch at Cornfield Electronics.
And if you're in San Francisco, you do Circuit Hacking Mondays.
Yeah, come to Noisebridge.
When you're there.
You're always welcome,
Always there.
even when I'm not there.
Okay.
Of course, but if
All right. So
you're a
let's
Mitch Altman fan.
let's,
It'd be cool if there's like a cutout of you, like when you're not there. So it's like
Yeah, I'm just always doing this.
the Mitch Altman's out.
Yeah. Well, I've said it before. I wanted to do the Mitch Altman Awards, and Mitch would just win it every year. But then we would eventually find someone. Like I think like Jimmy Rogers is kind of
There are so many cool people.
carried on the torch with like some of the workshop stuff.
Oh, Jimmy's done great things.
Yeah, so I think like that's what I want to do. But I swear to you, one day I am going to make a Mitch Altman bronze statue of like turning off a TV. I swear I am. This is and like
That's way better than like the Julian Assange. Look, we can do it with the color film.
with the copper.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do it now.
so-
with the color film, the
You can have
test.
a little one.
No,
You can-
no, you can make it like this big.
There's actually 3D models of me online.
Good.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
But
really?
not doing
Okay.
this.
yeah. So you've known me for a long time. If I say I'm going to do something, I absolutely will do
You
it.
didn't say how big the bronze statue is going to be.
I just said there's going to be a bronze statue of Mitch turning off a TV.
Okay.
All right.
I'll
And it's
I'll
actually
remember that.
it's gonna point at TVs and turn it off. So the statue is gonna be like pissing people off
yeah,
too.
like look, it's how heavy this element is. This
yeah.
is like it's like
Wow, that's metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's metal.
Yeah, metal. Okay, so let's do some show stuff more.
Fruit.
Lady, we're gonna buzz through these really fast, okay?
Yeah, let's do this thing.
All right, pack in the mailbag. We get letters just like you do, Mitch, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Packet. Packet reads the, well, I read them. This is from Chad. I want to say thank you to Adafruit and Lady Ada for helping me learn more about electronics. I must say your videos and site are the best out there, clean, clear, and whoever came up with in charge of the marketing and branding is doing a hell of a job. Thank you so much for the encouragement and clear, crisp presentation of electronics. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My 3-year-old son and I watch your stuff together and both learned something that is something you should be proud of. That is unique, Chad. Thank you, Chad.
Yay.
Very cool. Next up.
Fruit.
Yeah.
Help wanted. So we have a jobs board, and any maker can post their skills, and any company can post their jobs. But here's the rule: Lady and I approve it.
No jerks.
No recruiters, no weird things. We had to turn down someone who wanted hedge fund intern. Sorry, nothing wrong with that, but not for this site. And so we approve each one of them, and you can actually see companies finding great makers and makers finding people to work with.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so we do that, and we read these off each week. This one, this person is John. He's desktop, Android, and firmware development and prototyping. He's got 20 years of software experience, and it goes on and on. He's in North Carolina, and he also has a laser cutter.
Cool.
So if you're looking for someone to help you out with stuff, and this is what we got asked this so much. Do you guys do consulting? No. And so we said, you know what? Why don't we just come up with a job board? We'll say, hey, like you can post there, so people who are looking for consultants for their maker projects can post up there.
How do you find time to moderate all that?
I go to bed around 10 or 11, and I wake up at 1. And then
Who needs sleep?
Yeah, well, I do. No, but I need that much for sure.
3 hours.
Yeah, and then when Lamar wakes up, we take turns looking at some of these things. So we have 2
And
shifts.
it's pretty obvious to tell if it's like a good post or not. Like,
Yeah, you can tell pretty quickly.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
can
just one
tell
button.
because if it's like somebody who they post and they sent like 30 in, it's like, well, you're obviously spamming, so you just
Yeah.
delete them all and you ban them.
Yeah.
And then people know this is a good place, and then people who are bad just don't come here.
Okay, Lady Ada, Adafruit Learning System. We have a lot of tutorials.
685 apparently.
tutorials.
Really
So
number this week.
yeah.
685,
So
and they're all really good.
go through these, maybe just like one sentence each. So we.
Yeah.
All right. The first one that was on the site is.
Raspberry Pi animated GIF frame using, this is actually a Model B Plus in our Model B case. So there's a step where it's like, cut it up with a Dremel. But it's not an animated GIF, but normally you can play animated GIFs. And it's neat because they actually use Chromium in kiosk mode. So people who've been asking how to use a Raspberry Pi with a Pi TFT in kiosk mode for Chromium, this is a good tutorial because it actually shows you how to do that. So even if you're not making an animated GIF, if you want to have like a little kiosk, a mini kiosk with your Raspberry Pi, and it has, there goes my hairband.
It's gone.
Boing. This is a really good tutorial, and so I like this tutorial, and it's also really fun, and it has a little animated GIF player. So that's cool.
Okay. Next up. This is an illustrated shell command primer.
This is a really, really good tutorial. This tutorial is actually, it's really good because it's so hard to teach something so basic, which is how to use shell commands in Linux. So we already had 2 other tutorials in this, beginning Linux. There's people who have like Raspberry Pis or BeagleBones or Chummy Hacker boards, and they're like, wait, there's this Linux thing, and like I know it's open source, I know it's powerful, but I don't like. They're just not used to it because
command lines are scary for a lot of
scary.
people.
So this tutorial is really nice because there's actually animated GIFs showing the typing. So instead of just screenshots, you actually see like these little mini animated GIFs of all the commands and then the output, how it prints. So it's much faster than the video, and you get very quickly to understanding how command line works. So it covers all the basics, and we'll be doing more tutorials. This one's by Brennan. This is his third tutorial in the series, and so we'll hopefully do more. But this one will definitely get you started. So when people say like, when I say like, okay, go to the command line and type ifconfig, and they're just like, ah! I can send them here and be like, here's a guide on how to use command line.
Okay.
It's a powerful tool.
Next up.
This is a guide by Simon Monk for the product that he makes. It's a motor driver for the Raspberry Pi. So people were asking how to use 5-volt steppers with it, and he's like, that's a really good question. I should probably do a tutorial on how to do that. And so he shows you here how to use a stepper motor and then how to step through all the windings back and forth so you can do forward and backward stepping.
Okay.
Nice.
Another tutorial. This is, what is the command line?
This is the previous tutorial to the one we just talked about, so we're going backwards in time. And this tutorial, also by Brennan, just sort of says, like, it doesn't teach you any details of command line, but it shows you what it is and the history of it, and like how to log in. So like your username and your password, and just like getting to that little shell prompt, which could be like a $sign or a hash symbol or like a %, or whatever your shell. And then he also talks a little bit about the bash shell, which is what we'll be talking about. And then he also says how to get a shell. Many ways. You can use a terminal, you can use a console cable, you can SSH, you can telnet. So all the different ways that you can get a command line.
Okay. Next up. This was the 16-channel PWM servo hat.
Right, this is the servo hat from last week, which we demoed. This is the tutorial that we have for it, what we did on Friday, or I guess after Wednesday or whatever.
Probably.
It just basically talks to you about how to control up to 16 servos on a Raspberry Pi using this very nice hat, which does all the timing for you. So it's really, really easy. It's a very popular hat. We'll see. Well, I think we're almost sold out. But if you want to do robotics with your Raspberry Pi, this could be a very good hat for you.
Next up.
Ooh,
Pocket
a
Galaxy.
Pocket Galaxy. You like this little Pocket Galaxy. So
yeah.
I have to turn this on. So it's a mirror, but it's actually a half mirror.
Oh, but don't worry. Look what I've got here.
Infinite.
So it's like infinite. So it's like we're looking
Infinite.
through, and then people looking through it. So it's a two-way infinite mirror. So it looks like you're looking into like a black hole. So it's kind of neat. It's got neopixels, and it's a really cute project by James, who's here in Fab. And it's really elegant because it's actually got a trinket and a battery inside of it, and a switch, but it's like in the frame, so it's a very elegant
It's weird because
project.
when you hold it and you move it around, it looks
your
like there's
head
a hole in the universe or something like that. Yeah,
It's
isn't that weird?
inside than outside.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
we can spend hours.
Yeah.
All right, Ask Engineer's canceled.
Show's over.
Show's over.
Something shiny. Okay.
Okay.
Moving along, we have a new feature that we've been doing on the blog. So what we discovered is pretty much everybody at Adafruit reads a comic of some kind. It is kind of like the modern mythology. So we asked everyone to send us what your favorite comics are. And so last week we had Starcrawler?
Yeah, Starcrawler.
Starcrawler. And this week it's Girl Power. And this was a review by Mike. So if you're interested in what Adafruit's reading, you can see this because Lady Ada and I always talk on the show about what comic book you're reading. We happen to be fans of some pretty big classics, and I also like some ones that are a little obscure.
We'll get to you. You're going to do
yeah,
review.
we both like Dark Knight Returns, some of the classic Batmans, stuff like that. So we're going to have reviews. Is there any comic books that you
know,
like?
I just, while I was in China, someone gave me a graphic novel called Stuck Rubber Baby, and it was amazing.
Okay.
It was a historical in the South about the civil rights movement.
And this is what comics can do. They can teach all these things in a very cool
really
format.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right, well, maybe you can send us a review.
Send you. We're gonna do that, yeah.
All right.
So once a week, we'll try to suggest a good comic book, or webcomic, or graphic novel, or pretty pictures and words.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, time travel. We look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers, scientists, art, you name it. It's happening. So, back in 1910, same time this month, the first public radio broadcast took place, a live performance of the opera sent out over the airwaves of the Metropolitan Opera House in New York, New York. Birth of radio broadcasting is credited to Lee DeForest, 1907 Lee DeForest Company advertisement said. So, that's where the first one came from. Not too bad.
1910. That was
Yeah.
over 100 years ago.
Yeah. So there's no one alive who heard that. I don't think so. And there's some other historical things. So you were on the show almost to the day in 2010. And there you are. This is old Adafruit when we were just in a little apartment. And then when we were a slightly bigger apartment. And
That's angry, Phil. You're really angry.
I was like, yeah, I was like running a million miles and like lifting like the heaviest things. I was going to the gym all the time because I thought, it was a long story, but.
This is even, we had
Yeah,
the
we had
laser
both of
cutter
those,
over
yeah.
there. This is the old apartment.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna have to.
Yeah, where you lived.
Yeah, yeah.
And worked.
It was intense.
Wear my Google shirt. People would be like, "You work for Google?" I'm like, "Hell no! I got the shirt for free."
Yeah.
I still have it.
Sure.
And a couple other things. We just did our 5-year anniversary of Ask an Engineer. Adafruit is now 10 years old, and I want to thank you, Mitch, for being part of this journey with us. Adafruit couldn't exist
I've known you
without
for
you.
10 years.
That's pretty amazing.
Adafruit couldn't exist without our friendship and the stuff we've done together. Hands down.
It's been amazing. It's been a positive influence on my life.
Yeah,
For sure.
Okay.
I can say for a fact, we were able to find cool people to work with, make cool electronics, have kits, have all these hacker spaces, like all this stuff. Like you're going out there and you're turning people into makers and hackers and artists and engineers. And on one hand, of course, yes, they're customers. That's not. But on the other side of it is you're just making good people, and they're wanting to do good things. So thank you.
Just like helping people.
Yay.
Thank you. All right, wearables. We're gonna do a quick thing because we're gonna run out of time. Wearables this week. I have one mention. So this is kind of the coolest thing that's happened, like in the last 24 hours. So Steve Mann emailed us, and he's like, "Hey, like I want to let you know you can use NeoPixels to see how cameras are looking at you." So he's like the original
It's
cyborg.
like an IR detector.
I know. Yeah.
And he emailed us, so he used our blog tip line. So he's kind of like a hero for a lot of us. And he's like, "Hey, by the way, like I'm using this stuff, and like here's a link to my events." We're like, "Okay, we're gonna post this up right away." Like, wow.
Yeah,
so
this is cool. This is like the people who do the like the Wi-Fi light painting where they look for Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I think this looks for IR light because usually IR light's used by
Yeah,
cameras.
to
So I think
illuminate.
it's an IR to visible light converter, which is kind of interesting.
So what's he doing with that slinky like?
I think it's a
it's showing where the surveillance is. It's IR. I think it's finding where
it's
the
a ring and it lights up. There's a sensor in the middle, and I think it's lighting up, showing that there's an IR beam in that area because you can't
Yeah.
see with your eyes.
Yeah.
All right,
So
and
it's just NeoPixels that light up when IR is in the area.
Very cool.
I think that's it.
and don't forget every
It's
Wednesday
like TV Begons too.
Indeed.
we have Becky's show is every Wednesday. Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern. I'm going to play the video. We have a sound jacket that we have our new soundboard.
Yeah.
And Colin has an amazing video. We're going to play it next week. 3D printing stuff. Don't forget, tomorrow is 3D Thursday. Let's hang out with Noah and Pedro. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday. They go over all the coolest things in 3D printers and printing and show you tutorials, filaments and all that stuff.
Filament Friday now.
Yeah.
That's 3D Hangout Thursday.
And then let's go right to the new products, Lady Ada.
You
But
want-
before we do that, the code is Altman. 10% off in the Adafruit store. And let's kick this off.
Okay. Wait.
New products.
1 second.
What are you going to do?
Okay, I have to put it on. So the first, can we start with the Cap Touch?
Yeah, so we're going to start with the Cap Touchette. This is a new product. You want to go to the overhead?
Yeah.
So,
this is a new hat. So I actually we have a video, but I'll show it on the overhead
okay.
to start. Okay. Let's see if I got my lights going on here. So this is the another hat. So every week we're doing a hat for Raspberry Pi. It's kind of like a shield, but for Raspberry Pi. They have their mechanical standard. It's like if you fit this mechanical standard, it's be the size. So we've been coming up with a whole bunch of ones. Like we had the servo one, and we had one with GPS on it, and like all the most popular stuff that people want. So you can plug it into your Raspberry Pi. And then the one I'm going to demo today is the capacitive touch one. So it has a capacitive touch chip in the center, and then it has these weird figure eights coming out, and those are the electrodes. And I have it hooked up right now. Oh, I have it. I'll get it ready, but I have it hooked up to a speaker. And let me log in and start this script.
Okay.
And whatever you. Hold on.
Do you want me to play the video of it?
Yeah, why don't you play the video while I
Okay.
log in?
While you do that, I have a little video that I wanted to show folks, and this is the video of Lady Ada playing the Cap Touch hat. Let me just find it. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Here it is.
Merry Christmas, it's Lady Ada on the musical conductive hat.
Fruit drums.
Fruit drums.
Fruit hat. I have a lot of fruit. So, I know.
I'm going to stick to the engineering.
So sorry, I was just getting my Python script running. But so in this demo, I just have fruit connected to it because you can connect anything that's kind of damp or metallic or anything that can conduct even a little bit of electricity. But I'm just going to touch it directly with my fingers. So can we go to the overhead?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Now I'm totally set. And I have the speaker, and I'm going to put it near my mic so you guys can definitely hear it. But
Nice.
so this is the code for the thing. So I can also have a band.
Okay, Lady
made
Ada
for
band.
So as you touch each one, it can detect it, and then if you're in this example script, I have it plays a sound, but it doesn't have to. It can actually do anything. It just detects a touch, and then you can have your Python code play video, or go to a website, or turn off a light, or whatever you want. It's just fun to demo with the sound because it's just like so easy. And
And it's capacitive, not resistive.
that's right, it's capacitive. So you have to have a human, and you can't be wearing gloves. It has to be like your hand, or if you have those special gloves with the metal tip, that works too. Basically anything that, like an iPhone, like you can use those capacitive styluses. But if you use alligator clips, what's nice is that you can connect to the, you can clip the alligator in so it grabs the two circles, and then you can, attach the other end to like fruit or metal or ITO or whatever you like. So
Okay.
it allows you to have like, basically I want to make it so you can clip alligator clips. That's why you have that weird figure shape.
So this is why you can clip to it.
Yeah, because people are like, why the heck is that weird shape?
Yeah.
And then
And
if you
here's
want to
the other
solder,
side.
you can solder to the hole in the middle. So that's a capacitive touch hat. So we'll have more hats, but that's this week's hat. And we have a really cool animated GIF of Becky playing fruit drums.
Okay. All right.
Good time for fruit.
Next up, big announcement. This is the Lulzbot Mini. It's the next in the line of open source 3D printers. We have the coming soon page. We're allowed to announce that it's coming out. So
Sign up.
sign up. They'll probably go pretty fast. It's one of our popular 3D printers, and made a big splash at CES.
Yeah.
Oh, you were there?
No,
No.
absolutely.
No.
I don't think we're allowed to go there, mostly because something you made. Yeah,
Yeah.
for those
We
of
weren't banned.
no.
Technically, it wasn't
Yeah.
us.
So I guess
They can't prove it.
I guess one side note for the folks who don't know this. So we had just came out with the new version of the high power TV Begon, and I soldered up 5 and I sent it to my friends who were at Gizmodo at the time, and they all were in Vegas for CES, and they decided to. Well, let me just back up a little bit. A lot of people were complaining that year's CES was, man, there's nothing really new and exciting. It's just a bunch of TVs. I wish someone would do something about this. Well, then the next day something did happen, and so they used all the TV Begons to shut off every single TV at CES. They filmed it, they put up a video, and one of the people from Gizmodo got banned for life. It was an interesting couple weeks. Boy, did people want to get TV Begons. after that.
Yeah, that little
Or,
2-minute video.
or kill us. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was an
Even
interesting
the guy who is kind of the brunt of all that. I emailed him and he said, I just work for them. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
He's like, I don't care. Like, it's nothing to do with
Yeah.
me.
So anyways, it was an interesting day in the world of consumer electronics. Next up, our R is for Robots coloring book is probably going to be in the store in a few days. We went through the alphabet and we did A is for Asimov, H is for Hexpod, G is for GPS, W is for Wildcat,
That's
X is
really
for
nice art.
XREX. We had N is for
nice and
nanotechnology. We had
Artist.
P is for prosthetic. We have J is for Jacquard loom. And this is the second coloring book that we've done here at Adafruit. The first one was Lady Ada's E is for electronics, A through Z of electronics. This one is R is for robots. And as always, we are releasing this as a Creative Commons download for free. You can print these out and give these to kids.
Yay.
You can make them and
Isn't that
distribute
the
them.
worst when you get a coloring book and then everyone wants to color in like H is for hexapod, and then you're like, man, I only have one H for hexapod. You can make a book with 25 H's for hexapods and then like one for S's
Yeah.
self-driving car.
So, so it's meant for people of all ages to just look at robots, and one thing that I think that we can all do a better job on is robots can be friends. They just don't need to be what like Terminator says they're going to be. They can be our friends. With the software we write, eventually, if they become self-aware, we have to be very careful that we make sure that we put our best in them, not our worst.
Yeah.
And so my favorite story is when I was working with the people at Sony, and they had these little humanoid robots called Curio. And one of the older engineers, he said, make sure you make robot friend, not robot enemy. And it really hit me because I was like, oh my God, because their robot, it would only read to children. It wouldn't do, he said, don't make robot slave.
Yeah.
Very powerful, like just that, wow, like we may have to think about what we put into these robots one day, and especially if they're gonna do very important or dangerous things or whatever. So anyways, we're starting them very young, and we're trying to teach kids about robots in more than just what Hollywood says is gonna happen, and more than everybody else out there.
More than the military.
Yeah.
So that's our plan.
So we only have fun robots in here.
Yeah.
Friendly
So
robots.
next
Good.
up, getting started with Arduino. There's a new update. We have it in the store. Just some more text and stuff and updates
More. Yeah, it's gotten to be quite a book. So if you want to learn Arduino, this is like the book by the definitive source. I
Next
guess.
up, we have a special companion kit for Sylvia's Super Awesome Project Book, Volume 2. It's an Arduino pack that goes along with it. You can do all the projects.
And yeah, we actually use all these parts to go through all the projects, so we know for sure that it works.
Yeah.
You get a speaker, you get an Arduino, you get a USB cable, you get 3 ultra bright white LEDs, so you can do the pulse effect ones, a potentiometer with wires soldered onto it, and a genuine Arduino and 9-volt battery pack. So you will definitely be ready to go, and it works perfectly with Arduino software. So after you finished Sylvia's beginner book, you can move on to the introduction to Arduino book or something.
Okay, and next up, we won't spend a lot of time on these, but basically we have these new types of filament. There's ones that are, there's copper,
Yeah, there's copper and bronze.
bronze.
Just kind of coppery.
And this actually does have metal particles in it.
Yes.
Yeah, and they answer the question at a time. It's not conductive, but it is
looks
metal,
cool.
and it feels like metal, and they said it smells like metal. And then last up, we also have glow-in-the-dark.
That's fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we'll be having more. Actually, you should check in tomorrow if you're watching on live. 3D Hangouts with Noah and Pedro. They will show off. They showed off on the show and tell some stuff that they printed out with the copper and bronze filament. And it looks like it's a cast piece. Especially if you do finishing, like they tumbled it with some like hex nuts or something to kind of ding it a little bit to give it a much smoother finish. They say after tumbled it looks pretty much cast, like it's as good as something you would buy.
Okay, Lady Ada,
Very nice.
we have a pack of NeoPixels.
They're not neopixels, they're dot stars.
Dot stars, sorry.
Bars.
This is
Really screwed that one up, sorry.
you're fired. No,
I know.
These are a 10-pack of APA 102s, which is kind of the next generation of all-in-one LED chips. These ones have a 2-wire SPI protocol, so you give them power and ground, and then data clock in and data clock out. And they act a lot like NeoPixels, but you don't have to worry about timing requirements. And I can show some of the overhead real fast, too.
Okay.
I soldered them onto little 50/50 LED breakouts here. And they're as bright as like NeoPixels, so if you're used to that. But because there's no timing requirements, you can use it with any processor because you don't have to worry about this like pulse high, pulse low. You can go as fast or slow as you want. Works perfectly with Raspberry Pi, any pins, BeagleBone, Basic Stamp. Any processor will work just fine as long as you have 2 pins available. And they look really great and they're really easy to use in like 24-bit color. So if you want something that's a little bit more stable than NeoPixels and not as picky, dot stars are like basically the same price and are really good quality and look great.
Okay. Next up, we have an update of the Hummingbird kits.
Yeah, this is the Hummingbird Duo. It now comes with even more stuff. And this is a basically a DIY robotics pack that has no soldering required. So if you want to make interactive art, it has like every kind of servo, DC motor, like multiples of each one, sensors, and they're all wired together and ready to go. So you can just like plug and play. You don't have to solder anything. You don't really even have to know anything about robotics. It's designed for beginners, and it's very comprehensive. And I believe it's even Arduino compatible, although let me see if I can look at it. It comes with a brain board called the Hummingbird brain, and then let me check. Yeah, it's Arduino at heart, and it has it's an Atmega 3284, so it's basically like a Leonardo Arduino, but it and developed by Carnegie Mellon. But you can basically build all these cool sensors and robot projects with it. So check it out. Great for educators, or if you
Okay.
want to have a bunch of people build a robot and they don't have any tools.
And next up we have, this is the black hat
Hacker.
from Pimaroni, right? No, sorry.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's right. Sorry, Pimaroni. That's right.
Yeah, they put like Japanese characters on it.
Yeah, for one second I'm like, oh my god, no, I got it wrong. No, okay. So what does this do, Lady Ada?
This is it's a mini kit, so you have to solder together. It comes with a bunch of parts, and it basically breaks out the GPIO for a Raspberry Pi B plus or A plus twice, so you can plug it into your Pi, and then you can put a hat onto it. So if you're developing a hat, and then you can still probe all the pins. So it's really handy if you're debugging a Raspberry Pi hat, you're developing one, and you want to still be able to get to all the pins without having to you can have other wires, and especially if the hat uses all the pins. So they use this internally for developing their products, but they're like, hey, it might be handy for other people. So they cleaned it up a little bit and released it as a kit.
Okay.
And that's it.
And all that is our new products for the week. Thank you, Lady Ada.
I finished on time.
Okay, so don't forget the code is Altman. It's 10% off all the way up until midnight. Any of the stuff that you saw is there. We're going to do a speed round of questions for you guys. So start asking your questions in the chat room.
Ooh.
Very good.
Questions?
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to start it up. I already have a couple stored right now. First one is for Mitch. How do you start a hackerspace in your local area?
You imagine the culture you want to be a part of and spend a lot of time with, put it out there, and it attracts more people who fit in with the culture and make it stronger. And you pick a name, you get a website, you make stickers. Stickers with the
are
logo.
actually key.
Stickers are really important.
Stickers and like a dishwasher, right? I heard that there's like the
not
two.
necessarily a dishwasher,
Really?
but it makes things smoother. First things first, you need a space. So after you get together, you meet every Tuesday because every day of the week is
Bad.
every day of the week is bad. So you
So
might as well
just
just
do
do Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then when the time is right, you get a space. And it's a lot of work, but it's amazing. It's very rewarding, and it's way worth it. And your town needs a hackerspace.
That's
Even
true.
if they don't think they do, they do. And there's 2,000 hackerspaces worldwide, so
That's not enough.
that's not enough. We should have even more, and it's a great way, especially if you want access to stuff like a laser cutter, or like a CNC or a 3D printer. Get your friends together, and especially one of your friends, if your friends collects tools, and get them to join. And then they'll bring their tools over, and then everyone can play with these awesome technologies and learn stuff. And maybe you'll help your friend who has a 3D printer with an electronics project. They'll help you with a 3D printing project. Look, you're like best friends now.
Yeah, and hackerspaces around the world all help each other, so you're not alone. So it's you can do it. If you need help, just email me.
All right. Also, we have a series of articles on our Learn system, how to start a hackerspace, for all the nitty-gritty logistics on insurance, leases, all this stuff. So we have a resource there too.
Yeah. And stickers.
Yeah, and stickers. Okay, Lydia, what is the limit of the dot star pixel range?
What's the limit?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So what's the limit on the dot star on pixel range?
I don't know what in particular pixel range, but you can do 24-bit color.
That's probably
and
nice.
You can SPI to them at least 16 megahertz, probably faster. So extremely fast updates, and the PWM refresh rate's also much faster. I think the PWM refresh rate is at least, I think it's 12 kilohertz.
Great.
So it's beyond the vision. So the color looks very smooth. You don't get any of the jittery effects. So if you're doing
That
just the
drives me
vision,
crazy.
look, we had what we had. Now we're already on to the next thing. I like how it's been only like 2 years, and already it's like there's something better. But you do have to have 2 pins.
Yeah.
But I think
Okay.
it's better because it's like SPI. You can just blast data as fast as you
All
want.
right, next up, I'm looking for something on your website, but not sure what. I'm looking to use IMU module plus servo motor plus Bluetooth all in one. I'm not sure if your wearables would suffice or if you have something else.
We don't have anything all in one, but we do have Bluetooth, both classic, that's Easy Link, and low energy, which is the Bluefruit LE line. And then we have IMUs, 9DOF and 10DOF boards. If you look in sensors under I think accelerometer, you'll see links to the 9DOF and 10DOF board. We have a couple. We have I think 3 or 4 different. And then servos we definitely have. And then you probably just want to get an Arduino, maybe a Pro Trinket when you want to minimize it to make your project small and wearable.
Okay, let me just post a link. All right, the other question that just came in, put it over here, oops, is for Mitch, what type of tools and technology do you think will be commonplace in hacker spaces of the future?
Predicting the future is not so much humans' forte. We're creating the future as we go along, and that's the way it should be. Otherwise, it would all be determined. And what makes life interesting is that we get to create it.
What's the coolest technology you've seen at a hackerspace? Like, what's the most like, oh my god, I can't believe you guys got one of these running, like an electron microscope or something? What have you seen?
Well, a lot of hackerspaces now are starting to make their own scanning electron microscopes.
Okay.
And I think
Old
that's
hat.
pretty awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. And hackerspaces now are starting to have their own pick-and-place machines and
Biohacking stuff.
biohacking has been pretty
Yeah, I
amazing.
was going to say, I think we're going to start to see people who move beyond like 3D printers, and they'll start printing, tissues, food, organs, all that stuff, I think.
Yeah, and people are doing
need, like, 3
stuff
kidneys.
for prosthetics and.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing is that people at hackerspaces are doing stuff because they really think they'll love it, and if they really love it, then they keep doing it, and cool stuff results from people doing what they love, and that's what I love seeing. Not that's the particular technology, but that people are doing stuff because they love it, and cool stuff comes from that.
Yeah, I'll say this: if you can accurately predict the future, it sucks, because what happens is you're trapped between the time that something is definitely going to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. So you're just doing your time until something that. So it's a curse sometimes if you know what's going to happen on the horizon.
It's more fun if you don't know, because then it's like, I don't know what's going to happen.
When you do know, there is a sense that you're trapped in like a glass orb and everything's static. So I do like surprises. Like you wouldn't expect a lot of things to be so common right now 10 years ago. No one could have predicted that we'd have all of this amazing technology. This is the best time to be a geek, we have all this stuff available.
What's funny is like everyone's getting into
cheap
drones, but like hackerspaces, drones are like 5 years ago. They're like,
insane.
whatever.
I would like to see, we like Miku, the Japanese hologram.
Yeah.
I'd like to see hackerspaces all have a little spot where people can beam themselves in and look around in another hackerspace. Maybe using
Sounds
something
cool.
Like Oculus Rift or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Oculus Rift is, who needs that? Because now we have cardboard. And
Yeah. No, I mean like that kind of immersive.
Yeah, what was
VR.
it was called Oculus Thrift. Here's a question for you. Where are you off to next?
Home.
Where is home?
So San Francisco.
Home is where your workshop is.
Well, I travel a lot. Last year I was home only a third of the time. This year I'm going to be home about half the time, doing lots of workshops in San Francisco area. So the next workshop I'm going to be doing is at the California Academy of Sciences in Golden Gate Park, where I'll be teaching a whole bunch of teenagers how to use Arduino and sensors. It's called nature hacking.
Okay.
So we'll have sensors that can sense the environment and do cool
Maybe
things with it.
one day you can use Adafruit.io so they can log it and have a site where they can do fun experiments.
Yeah, that'd be great, and it makes it really easy to do stuff, and also to think about doing it with the Bill of Rights.
Bill of
for
Rights,
such
and
things.
people should be able to license their feeds, we think.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's going to work out, but whatever.
I think it will.
Yeah.
It's definitely something important to think about and to follow.
Next up, this was a question for you, Lamar. Does the Adafruit haptic motor controller use the TI-DRV 2605 or the DRV 2605L? The datasheet off your site links is 2605.
It's the L.
Okay.
But I don't know. I actually don't even really know the difference. It's the one that has the library built in. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know.
All right, and with that was a speed round of questions. Thank you, guys. Woo!
I don't know.
Okay, so we're going to do a trivia question.
Yeah.
Lady Ada, what's the rule?
Rule is if you've won a fabulous prize from the Adafruit Ask Engineer show before, even if it was 5 years ago, you still can't win. Only one winner per my lifetime. We want to make sure all the new people have a chance, Mr. Smarty Pants. So sit on your hands, and the first person to answer the question correctly in either the YouTube or Ustream chat, whichever we see first.
Yeah.
Are they synced up tonight?
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Synced up? Okay. And also, by the way, it takes a couple minutes, so if you're on it, like, it doesn't matter what chat you're in.
Yeah.
We'll win the fabulous prize today.
TV Be
is
Gone.
A TV Be Gone.
TV Be Gone and a TV Be Gone badge.
Whoa, TV Be Gone.
So,
Kit and a TV Be Gone badge.
Yeah.
Bill, do you want TV Be Gone? Be like Mitch.
okay.
Turn off TVs.
Turn off TVs.
Here it is. What is the name of the hackerspace that Mitch co-founded? What is the name
You
of the
can't enter.
hackerspace
You can't enter. I forgot to
that
say.
Mitch co-founded? So as soon as I see
I have a TV
someone
Be Gone.
I know.
who,
You have a badge too, right?
yeah,
I do.
we will award them the
Meanwhile, I
prize.
can look at this like space.
Yeah. Let's see.
All the
We'll
way
see who
up
comes up
there.
with it first. Someone's close, but not quite. That's pretty close, but it's not quite there.
Even though it's right on the video.
It's in the
It's
kids
tough.
on
People are
the.
excited. They want to like.
They're
they
very
wanna
excited.
Quickly.
So we'll see.
Pocket universe.
All right, the winner is Dave Casey. Congratulations, Dave Casey. And
Dave.
it is Noisebridge. It is not Mitch Space.
That'd be cool if it was mid-space.
Mitch Space.
All right, so Dave Casey, email
Noisebridge.
support@adafruit.com. You guessed it, a TV Be Gone.
You gotta build it.
And-
but
You
it
do.
makes it better.
And you get a TV Be Gone
And you
limited
get to solder
edition
it.
badge.
Download the Soldering is Easy comic book. It's easy.
It's easy. If it
All
smells
right.
like chicken, you're doing wrong. And don't forget, don't wear your badge while using the TV gun if you're trying
'Cause
to be
they'll know.
secretive. Because it's really clear. It's just like a TV with like an X through it. So when people are like, hey, the TV's acting weird, and they look around, they'll see you with the badge, they'll be like, that person looks guilty.
Okay.
They
So
never
hide
even
it.
notice.
So
it's okay.
I'm going
Really?
to squeeze
Okay.
one last question that I missed in there. So someone wanted to know, are there good $5 kits for beginners, makerspace at his school? Or her?
What do you think?
For
What do you
him.
use for basic hits?
So,
$5
at
is
Maker Shed, do you have them too? The
We
little
had
blinky
those.
light?
Yeah, we had those. I think they're not selling them right now, so we think we're going to have to make one.
They were
Yeah,
revising it.
that'd be a good idea to do that because it's super simple to learn. It's just one blinky light and
Okay.
a battery.
Okay.
All right.
And
we'll
Seed
work on it.
Studio, I think, has it. But yeah, you should make it. People like
Okay,
it.
so anyways, so that's the show tonight. Mitch, thank you so much for
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
coming
It's
out.
been great.
It's always good. I'm going to maybe hopefully mark how many times you've been on the show over the course of 10 years for, I got a few more decades left in me, so hopefully. Yeah, so I hope we can keep doing it.
Well, look
So
forward to it.
that's the show this evening. The code is Altman. It's 10% off all the way up until midnight. We have a bunch of stuff to show on Ask an Engineer next week. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. there's a big press release involving Adafruit and another company. I can't say anything until it actually really goes across the wire. Big news. I'll tell you as soon as we go off here. But it's we're really happy about this. And just look on our website.
Sounds intriguing.
Look on our website
It's-
tomorrow at 9.
It's under embargo.
It's very, well, no, we just
No,
we just agreed not to say anything until
9
Yeah,
a.m.
until they saw
No,
it.
I wanted to say embargo.
You can say
Yeah.
embargo.
Synergy, co-opetition. So we have a big announcement. So we'll be able to talk about that hopefully at 9:30 tomorrow or 9 a.m. tomorrow. And with that being said, here's a picture of a cat. We'll see everybody next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here is your moment of Zener.